welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about what it is to be proactive in dating and how proactiveness is going to get you and how proactiveness is going to get you the most amazing women in the most seamless way possible. How are we going to do it? So, first of all, I want you to understand that women appreciate you being proactive like crazy, and guys who tend to be on point are super proactive in their life. So like guys who are on point in dating, but also on point in business, they tend to be very proactive. And if you feel like you're kind of like a feather in the wind, and oftentimes in social situations, you don't get what you want, today we're going to learn how to reverse that with an abstract concept that if you understand, you're going to apply into every facet of your dating process that's going to make sure that you get what you want. So today I'm going to tell you what it is to be proactive, or first of all, I'm going to tell you why being proactive is so goddamn important and awesome. Then I'm going to tell you what it is to be proactive. I'm going to explain the concept a little bit and give you concrete examples. And also, I'm going to tell you how to be proactive. Okay, teach you a couple of ways of applying that abstract concept in your tangible dating life. So with that said, let's start with the benefits. Why is being proactive so important, so beneficial? Number one, women appreciate it, and it tends to also get you what you want. Being proactive is the most strategic way to go about fulfilling your agenda. If you have a specific vision, which is you go into a bar and you want to meet a girl and you see her, you're fascinated, she's beautiful, you want to create that connection out of thin air, you want to lead her into a relationship, the best way to go about it is anticipate what's going to happen and be proactive about it, because the girl's going to appreciate the shit out of it. Okay, that's the most important benefit. Also, it tends to best competition. Most guys out there, they're not very proactive. They are kind of going with the flow. They have no exact plan. And because of that, when you are proactive, you can anticipate what's going to happen. And once they have acted, it's already too late because you've planned for it. Okay. And at the same time, if you ask me, okay, cool, but what's going to happen if somebody is also proactive and he's my competition in a bar? What tends to happen is that proactive guys are on a different frame of consciousness and a different frame of mind. And once you are operating out of this realm, and this is what I do with my clients as well, and if you want to work with them, by the way, link in the description below. Once you're operating out of this realm, it's very hard to clash with somebody. If two guys are operating out of this paradigm, it's more likely that they're going to collaborate and help each other and become friends in the process. Okay, so proactiveness tends to get you what you want, fulfill your agenda, bring your plan into fruition. Proactiveness tends to best all other guys and make friends with the appropriate, proper guys. And number three, and even more important, is that proactiveness creates trust with a woman, because it creates a seamless experience for her. And because of that, it's not a conscious process. She doesn't really quite understand it. It's just that the vibe and how you show up and how you go about your life, and because it creates that seamless experience for her, she knows that she can trust you. And if she knows that she can trust you, she knows that she can fall back, relax, and you'll be there to catch her. And because of that, she'll be attracted to you. She'll let you lead, and she'll be attracted to you. And the leadership is, by the way, we're going to talk about leadership in a second, but leadership is one of the most important attraction switches. I'll make a video up here with more attraction switches, but leadership is one of the most important ones. And this really, really, really helps you lead. So, now that we cracked all this, all of the above just basically means that the more proactive you are, the easier you're going to make it for women to be attracted to you. That's the gist. So, let's jump into what is proactive. What is being proactive? What is proactiveness? There is 3 ways to interact with an event. The first way is being reactive. Okay. If you're reactive, that means that the event takes place and then there's a visceral reaction that you exhibit after the fact. What does that mean? That means that once something's happened, then your emotions compel you to do something. You just blindly follow that impulse, and then you make that move. That can be good. If your emotions are in place, that can trigger an authentic reaction. However, oftentimes our emotions are fucked up. We carry all this burden and all this psychological trauma and God knows what else, and ego, right? And because of that, sometimes our visceral reaction is not an appropriate one to the event that just took place. So if you're reacting to something, that's not the best way necessarily. The next best thing is to respond instead of reacting. So an event takes place and then you respond to it. Okay, good, that's cool, because now you have cultivated a Zen mindset. You're grounded, you're cool, calm, collected, and when something happens, you block yourself from viscerally reacting, and you're calculating what your response should be, and then you respond to it. But the even better thing is to be proactive. That means the event takes place, but you've already anticipated what would happen. You have seen the fucking future. So the event takes place, and we're going to see a couple of examples of that as well. The event takes place, and you act because you've already prepared for it. That's where I want you to be. That is the best place, okay? That is the best way to operate. Now, like I said, proactiveness is a part of leadership. Leadership is one of the major attraction switches, one of the most important ones, which means behaviors that make a girl attracted to you. And proactiveness basically means that you take initiative, you get up and move your body towards whatever goal you have planned. This is what it means to be a leader. So let's go check out a couple of examples of proactiveness. So the first one I want to touch upon is guiding the conversation and asking the questions. Even in a friendship or a platonic relationship or a romantic relationship, even in family relationships, and especially in business relationships, the one that's asking the questions is the one that has the power. If you are asking the questions, if you're guiding the conversation, that means that you have an idea in mind of where you want to take this. Because of that, asking the questions is you being proactive. Okay, so that means if you want to be proactive, know where you want to take the conversation with a girl and start asking questions that point to that direction. Very easy. The next one is seeding the pool, what we call seeding the pool, which is if it's time to lead a girl back to your apartment, you guys want to get intimate, you guys want to have a more intimate atmosphere, it is very abrupt to suddenly go, okay, cool, let's go now. We're going to my place. The better way is to anticipate that you are going to do that at some point and start seeding into the conversation ideas of why that would be a good idea. Like why that would be a good move. So things like, have I told you about the great view that I have? Or I have this shisha in my apartment, it's fucking amazing. Or I gotta show you my fish tank at some point. Or I'm making this playlist and I've been making it for the last couple of months and it's fucking amazing. I gotta play this for you at some point and I have an amazing sound speaker system or whatever. All of these things, you can tell them to the girl maybe 1 hour or 2 hours before the idea pops in your head that your next move should be to go to your place. So seeding the pool. This is you being proactive. Okay. Number 3. Yes, walking in front of her, knowing what venue you're going to go next and how to transition from venue to venue. Imagine the scenario where you know you're leaving, but she doesn't know that yet. So you pull up your phone secretly, you order the Uber, you go to the bathroom, coming back from the bathroom, you pay for the bill, and you just grab her by the hand and you lead her out. So the bill is paid for, the Uber is waiting for you because you were proactive. You thought about that beforehand, in advance, and you created this seamless, fucking amazing experience for her. Imagine how much she'll appreciate it. And imagine that maybe she's not even gonna appreciate it consciously. It's just like, it will give her a feeling that with you, she's just walking on clouds. Everything is taken care of. There is no friction. There is no holdup. Fucking amazing. Another way to be proactive is to make sure that you create an amazing aura about you before you enter a room. So it's one thing to enter a room and like slouch and kind of like value scan the room to like see where the value is. Imagine what kind of impression that makes when you go into a space. But instead, when you're about to cross a door, a threshold into a space with social vibes, right? With where there's people trying to socialize, and you take a moment and you make sure that your posture is upright. You stand tall. You take your time. You slow the fuck down. And to make sure that once you're in there, you look everybody in the eye and hold eye contact, maybe with a smile. Imagine being proactive about it, thinking about it right before you enter the venue, collecting yourself, grounding yourself, taking like a brief second, 2 seconds to make sure that you're carrying the right energy, and you go through that door, having been proactive. You prepared, bro. Like, how amazing is that? You cross that door, and like you go in, and immediately everybody knows that you command respect. How amazing is that? That's you being proactive, okay? And the last example that I want to relay here is, imagine seeing a girl that you want to approach in kind of a high pressure situation. Maybe it's like a quiet cafe where you know that if you approach her, all eyeballs are going to be on you, okay? And maybe gathering yourself beforehand and taking a couple of conscious breaths to make sure that you're on point. That when you go there, when you approach her, you're going to have the right vibe. That is you being proactive. That's you being not in the whim of the situation. That's you anticipating what's going to happen, knowing the future, and preparing appropriately and accordingly for it. Now, this is you being proactive, and I want you to be as proactive as possible. Just going to get you the best results. Now, how are we going to be proactive though? Because this is kind of an abstract concept, and it's not easy to be proactive. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to recognize that you are a lazy thinker. And not just you, we're all lazy thinkers by default. If we don't force ourselves to think, to make sure that it's okay, to have a couple of thoughts, you're not going to do it. And I know this for myself. When I get coaching, I kind of like put my hands up and rely on the coach for even the stupidest things, which I know how to answer myself if you forced me to. So if there's a situation that you know what it's going to be, 9 times out of 10, you know what the right thing is to do. So please start not being a lazy thinker. Start thinking ahead. Start contemplating. Maybe you can spend some time alone in your house, thinking through situations, understanding what you could do better, and do that. That's the first way. The second way is to gather experience. And by the way, for the first way, you can also touch on theory, learn things from videos, from books, from mentors. That's what I'm here for. But the gist is, please don't be a lazy thinker. This is the worst thing that you can do. Now, the second one is to actually gather experience, because the more experience you have, the more you're going to be able to think proactively. That means you have a situation that happens, you didn't win, but at the same time, you can learn from it. You can recognize that there is some value to extract out of it. You can pick up the lesson. The best way to do that is to journal. And so I recommend you do this daily. You have a daily journaling practice. And at the same time, an amazing question that you can ask yourself to journal appropriately is, what could I have done better? How could I have anticipated what's going to happen? If you start answering these questions, your mind is going to start working in this way. Your mind is going to start trying to be more anticipatory, trying to be more proactive. Okay. And the last little bit that I want to give you is, if you want to be proactive in dating, start being proactive in the rest of your life. And that's going to bleed into dating as well, because the way you do one thing is the way that you do everything. In fact, I think it goes, the way we do anything is the way we do everything. And if you're I know this for me, because I tend to be a very proactive guy. If you are very proactive in other areas of life, inevitably it's going to start seeping into your dating life, and you're going to start anticipating things and seeing the future in a way. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Stick around, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.